the power of positivity. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Have you ever wondered how two people can experience the same challenge and emerge with entirely different outcomes? One feels defeated while the other stands taller, ready to take on the world. The difference lies not in their circumstances, but in their mindset, specifically the power of positivity. Positivity is not about ignoring life's hardships or plastering a smile over pain. It's about believing in possibilities even when faced with impossibilities. It's about understanding that challenges are not roadblocks, they are detours guiding us to something greater. Let me share something with you. There was a time when I thought my journey was over before it truly began. My life was turned upside down and I faced what seemed like an insurmountable obstacle. But here's what positivity taught me: in every challenge lies an opportunity to rise, to redefine what's possible, and to discover strength you never knew you had. When we choose positivity, we ignite resilience. We shift our focus from why this is happening to me to what can I learn from this. Positivity allows us to see setbacks not as the end, but as a part of the journey, pushing us to grow in ways we didn't know were possible. It's also contagious. Have you noticed how one uplifting moment can ripple out and change the energy of a room? That's the power you hold when you choose to shine your light, even in the face of uncertainty. You inspire others to find their own light. Positivity doesn't promise a life without struggle, but it promises a life where struggle does not define us. Instead, we define ourselves by how we rise, how we adapt, and how we keep moving forward. Harnessing resilience through positivity. Resilience, it's a word we hear so often, especially when life throws us curveballs. But what does it truly mean to be resilient? It's not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. It's about allowing ourselves to bend under the weight of challenges without breaking, and then rising stronger, taller, and more purposeful. But here's the secret about resilience: it doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's not something we're simply born with or something we stumble upon. Resilience is built step by step, moment by moment, and at the core of that process lies the power of positivity. You see, positivity isn't just about having an optimistic attitude or saying everything's fine. It's about perspective. It's about choosing to focus on what's possible, even when you're standing in the shadow of what feels impossible. It's about believing that no matter how rough the storm, the sun will rise again, and so will you. When life hit me with its hardest blows, I learned that positivity wasn't just a feeling, it was a choice I had to make every single day. It was in the moments when I didn't feel strong, didn't feel capable, and didn't feel like moving forward, but I decided to take one step anyway. That's where resilience begins. The incredible thing about positivity is that it doesn't just help you survive tough times, it transforms how you experience them. It shifts your mindset from why is this happening to me to what can I do with this? From I can't to what if I can. Positivity turns pain into possibility, and it fuels resilience by giving you something to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. But resilience isn't built in isolation. It's not just about what's inside you, it's also about the connections you create. When you radiate positivity, you attract people who believe in you, who lift you up, and who remind you of your strength when you forget. That's the beauty of positivity. It's a magnet for hope, and hope is what feeds resilience. Let me tell you this: challenges will come. That's part of the human experience, but each challenge is an invitation to rise, to adapt, and to redefine what's possible for you. And positivity is the tool that will help you answer that call. Turning obstacles into opportunities. Obstacles, just hearing the word can make us tense up. They're those moments when the path we've carefully planned suddenly vanishes, replaced by barriers so tall, so unyielding that we feel like we've hit a dead end. But what if I told you that obstacles aren't the end of the road? What if instead they're doorways to a life you didn't know you could live? When we face an obstacle, our first instinct is often frustration, maybe even fear. And that's okay, it's human to feel those things. But what happens next is what defines us. Because within every obstacle lies a choice: will you let it stop you? Or will you let it shape you? Here's the truth I've learned: the greatest opportunities don't come when the road is smooth and predictable. They come when life surprises us, challenges us, and forces us to rethink what we're capable of. Obstacles demand creativity. They push us to ask what else is possible, and in those moments of exploration, we often find a strength we didn't even know we had. Think about it. Obstacles are life's way of shaking us up, pulling us out of our comfort zones, and saying, hey, you're meant for something bigger. They redirect us, often to paths we might never have chosen on our own, but that lead to some of the most beautiful and meaningful destinations. Let me share this with you. There was a moment in my life when I felt like everything had been taken away. My plans, my dreams, my sense of who I was, they all seemed to vanish overnight. At first, I saw only the obstacle, and it was overwhelming. But then I realized if I couldn't take the road I had planned, maybe it was time to build a new one. And that's what obstacles invite us to do: to build something new, something that reflects not what we've lost, but what we've gained through the experience. Obstacles teach us to innovate, to persevere, and most importantly, to trust in our own ability to adapt. Opportunities often hide in plain sight, disguised as challenges. The key is to approach each obstacle not with the mindset of why me, but with the question, what now? When you ask that question, you shift your focus from the problem to the possibility. And here's the most powerful thing: once you turn one obstacle into an opportunity, you start to see all obstacles differently. They become less intimidating and more like puzzles waiting for you to solve them. Empowering creativity and solutions. Creativity, it's not just for artists or dreamers, it's for every single one of us. Because when life hands us challenges, when the usual tools or solutions don't seem to work, it's creativity that steps in and says, let's try something different. Creativity is where innovation begins. It's where problems meet possibilities. But here's the thing: creativity doesn't always show up when things are easy. In fact, it often thrives in the moments when everything feels uncertain, when the path ahead seems unclear, and when we're forced to think beyond the familiar. Creativity is born in the space where necessity and imagination collide. I remember a time in my life when I felt completely stuck. The solutions I thought I had didn't fit the problem I was facing. I felt lost, powerless even. But then I realized something powerful: when the tools you have don't work, you don't have to abandon the goal, you just need to create new tools. That's the magic of creativity. When we allow ourselves to approach a challenge with a sense of curiosity rather than fear, doors begin to open. Creativity isn't about having all the answers right away, it's about being willing to ask, what if? What if we try this? What if we look at the problem from a new angle? What if the answer is outside of us but already within us? Creativity is empowering because it reminds us that we're not stuck with the circumstances life hands us. We have the ability to reshape them. And that's where solutions come from, not from a rigid step-by-step plan, but from a willingness to explore, to experiment, and to embrace the unknown. Here's the truth: every single one of us is creative. You don't need to be a painter, a writer, or a designer to be creative. Creativity is in the way you adapt, the way you think, the way you find joy in unexpected places. It's in the way you turn what feels like a no into a yes, even if you have to build that yes from scratch. Think of the most extraordinary solutions in history. They didn't come from people who had it all figured out from the beginning. They came from people who faced impossible situations and dared to ask, what else is possible? And that's something we can all do. When we tap into our creativity, we unlock a part of ourselves that doesn't just survive challenges, it transforms them. Creativity empowers us to see what others might miss, to find beauty in chaos, and to discover opportunities hidden within what seemed like dead ends. The ripple effect of positivity. Have you ever dropped a pebble into a still pond and watched as the ripples moved outward, growing larger, reaching further? That's the power of positivity. It starts small: one thought, one word, one action, but its impact travels far beyond what we can see, touching people in places we never even imagined. Positivity is not just a personal choice, it's a force. It's a spark that has the power to light up someone else's world. The incredible thing about it is that you never know where those ripples will lead or how they will come back to you. But they do. I remember a moment in my life when I felt completely out of control, like the waves of life were crashing over me. And I was barely staying afloat. It was a kind word from someone, a small act of compassion that shifted my perspective. That simple gesture didn't fix my challenges, but it reminded me that I wasn't alone. It gave me the strength to take another step forward. And here's the most beautiful part: the positivity I received inspired me to pass it on. That's how positivity works. It doesn't just stop with you. When you choose to smile at someone, to encourage them, to believe in them, you create a ripple. Maybe they go on to uplift another person, and that person inspires yet another. Before you know it, your small act of kindness has created a chain reaction that spreads farther than you could ever imagine. The ripple effect of positivity doesn't require big, sweeping gestures. It's in the little things, the words we choose, the way we listen, the energy we bring into a room. It's in the moments when we decide to see the best in someone, even when they can't see it in themselves. And here's the thing: positivity is contagious. When we radiate hope, joy, and optimism, we give others permission to do the same. We remind them that even in the darkest times, there is light to be found. And sometimes just knowing that light exists is enough to change someone's entire outlook. But what happens when the ripples seem small, when it feels like your positivity isn't making an impact? Let me tell you this: you may not see the results right away, but they're there. Every act of positivity plants a seed. Sometimes those seeds take time to grow, but trust me, they do grow. Think about the moments in your own life when someone's positivity lifted you up. Maybe they didn't even realize the impact they had, but you felt it. That's the power you have, too. You have the ability to inspire hope, to bring comfort, to spark courage in ways you might never know. Choosing joy in the midst of adversity. Adversity, it's a word that carries weight, doesn't it? It reminds us of the moments when life feels heavy, when everything we've built seems to crumble, and we're left wondering how or even if we can move forward. But here's the thing about adversity: while we don't get to choose when it shows up, we do get to choose how we respond. And that's where joy comes in. Not happiness necessarily, because happiness often depends on our circumstances. I'm talking about joy, which is something deeper. It's a state of being, a choice we make to find light even in the darkest times. It's not about ignoring the hard stuff, it's about embracing the beauty that exists alongside it. I'll never forget a time in my life when joy felt out of reach. I was at my lowest, facing challenges I never thought I'd have to endure. There were days I couldn't see past the pain, days when I felt like I had lost everything that mattered. But then something shifted. It wasn't a grand, life-changing moment, it was a small one. A laugh with a loved one. A sunset that painted the sky with colors I couldn't describe. Those moments reminded me that joy was still there, waiting for me to choose it. And that's the thing about joy: it doesn't eliminate adversity, but it gives us the strength to face it. It reminds us that even when everything feels broken, there's still something worth holding on to. Choosing joy in the midst of adversity isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about finding what is okay, even when the world feels upside down. It's about celebrating the small victories, the ones that might seem insignificant to others, but mean everything to you. It's about looking at the pieces of your life and deciding that even though they might not fit the way they used to, they're still beautiful. And here's the most powerful part: joy is contagious. When you choose joy, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that it's possible to find light even when the path is unclear. You become a beacon of hope, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Adversity will come. That's part of being human. But joy is our way of saying, I'm still here, I'm still choosing to see the good, I'm still moving forward. It's the act of taking control in a situation where everything feels out of control. It's deciding that while we may not get to choose the cards we're dealt, we do get to choose how we play them. Gratitude as a foundation for positivity. Gratitude, it's one of those words we hear so often that it can start to feel like a cliche. But gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice, it's a powerful mindset shift. It's the lens that transforms how we see the world, especially when life doesn't go as planned. Gratitude is the foundation of positivity. It anchors us, grounds us, and reminds us of the beauty that still exists, even in the middle of chaos. There was a moment in my life when gratitude felt impossible. Everything I had envisioned for my future seemed to vanish overnight, and I was left holding the pieces of a life I didn't recognize. I could have focused on what I had lost, and believe me, some days I did. But something incredible happened when I began to ask a different question. What do I still have? That simple question shifted everything. It made me realize that even in the midst of pain, there were things to be thankful for: the love of my family, the strength of my body, even if it looked and moved differently than it once had, and the opportunity to redefine what was possible. Gratitude didn't erase my challenges, but it gave me the courage to face them with a new perspective. The thing about gratitude is that it doesn't require life to be perfect. In fact, it shines brightest when life is messy, uncertain, or even painful. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is okay. It's about acknowledging the good that exists alongside the hard. It's about finding those moments, however small, that remind us life is still worth celebrating. Think of gratitude as a muscle. The more we practice it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the more it transforms not just how we see the world, but how we interact with it. Gratitude helps us focus on abundance rather than scarcity, on possibility rather than limitation. It shifts our energy from fear to hope, from despair to resilience. Here's the incredible part: gratitude has a ripple effect. When you express gratitude, you don't just change your own mindset, you inspire others to do the same. A simple thank you can uplift someone's entire day. A moment of appreciation can remind someone else of their worth. Gratitude creates a cycle of positivity that radiates far beyond ourselves. And it doesn't take much to start. Gratitude can be as simple as taking a moment each day to acknowledge one thing, just one, that you're thankful for. It can be the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, or the fact that you've made it through another day. It's not about waiting for something extraordinary to happen. It's about recognizing the extraordinary in the ordinary. When we build our lives on a foundation of gratitude, we create a space where positivity can thrive. Gratitude reminds us of what truly matters, what sustains us, and what connects us to one another. And the best part, it's always available to us no matter what we're facing. Stepping beyond comfort zones with confidence. Comfort zones are safe, familiar, predictable. They're the places where we know exactly what to expect, where the risks are low and the stakes are manageable. But here's the thing: nothing extraordinary ever happens inside a comfort zone. Growth, transformation, and discovery, they all live just beyond it. And while stepping outside of that space can feel terrifying, it's also where we find the confidence to become who we're truly meant to be. There was a time in my life when my comfort zone felt like it had been ripped away. I wasn't given the option to stay, I was pushed. I had no choice but to face the unknown, and let me tell you, it was scary. But what I learned in those moments was this: the fear we feel when we step into the unfamiliar isn't a sign we're not ready. It's a sign that we're on the edge of something bigger than we can imagine. Stepping beyond your comfort zone isn't about being fearless, it's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding challenges, it comes from facing them head on and proving to yourself again and again that you're capable of more than you thought. Think about the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was learning a skill, taking on a project, or pursuing a dream that seemed out of reach. At first, it probably felt overwhelming, maybe even impossible. But then you took that first step, and then another and another and another, and somewhere along the way, what once felt like the unknown became familiar. That's the magic of stepping beyond your comfort zone. It expands with every step you take. The truth is, the greatest opportunities often lie just on the other side of discomfort. But you don't have to leap all at once. Confidence is built incrementally, one small action at a time. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or sharing a piece of your story. Every time you take a risk, no matter how small, you're teaching yourself that you can handle the unknown. And here's the beautiful part: when you step out of your comfort zone, you inspire others to do the same. People see your courage, your willingness to embrace uncertainty, and they think, maybe I can do it too. Your bravery becomes a beacon, lighting the way for others to follow. The world outside your comfort zone is full of possibility. It's where you discover strengths you didn't know you had, talents you didn't realize you could cultivate, and dreams that are bigger than you ever imagined. It's where you find out what you're truly capable of, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Confidence isn't about having all the answers or knowing exactly how things will turn out. It's about trusting yourself enough to take the first step, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's about believing that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. Today, we've explored the power of positivity and how it can shape our lives in remarkable ways. We've discussed resilience, creativity, and the ripple effect of joy and gratitude, all tools that help us turn obstacles into opportunities and opportunities into real growth. But here's the thing: none of these principles are abstract ideas. They are choices we make every single day. And those choices shape who we become and the impact we have on the world around us. It's easy to get stuck in the mindset that we need to wait for life to be perfect, for the right circumstances to align, or for things to be just right before we can make a change. But the truth is, we don't have to wait. The strength, the resilience, and the creativity we seek are already within us. They are waiting for us to choose them. We just have to be willing to step outside our comfort zones, to embrace the discomfort, and trust that on the other side, there's something beautiful waiting for us. So I challenge you to choose positivity even in the hardest moments, to choose joy even when the world feels heavy, to be grateful not for what's perfect but for what's real, and to always choose to step forward even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Because when you choose positivity, when you harness your resilience, when you turn your obstacles into opportunities, and when you step beyond your comfort zone with confidence, you not only transform your own life, you inspire everyone around you to do the same. And together we create a ripple of hope, strength, and possibility that can change the world. Thank you.